I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
Hey everyone, Justin Crumley here with the Cujo Productions channel. Welcome to another edition of The Film Cave. Today we're going to be talking about Superman. This is the reboot to the DC Universe. It's directed by James Gunn, and it stars David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Nathan Fillion, Isabella Merced, and Eddie Gathegi. And of course, as I mentioned, this is the kind of the start to the new DC cinematic universe that we're going to be getting from James Gunn, starting off with Superman. I'm not really going to describe the plot at all, because if I were to, I feel like I would have to spoil some things about the movie, and when you watch the trailers, you can kind of get an idea of what the movie is going to be about, but it isn't super obvious, so I'm not really going to describe the plot for this one. I'm just going to go straight into my thoughts, because I do have a lot of them. The first one is actually not really anything substantive about the movie itself. It's just a little fun fact about me. This is actually the first Superman movie I've ever seen in a theater. I'm not kidding. Superman Returns, I don't remember when that came out. I think it was like 04 or 06, something like that. I think I was like 14, something like that. I was like a teenager around that time when Superman Returns came out, and I did not see that. My uncle did, and he said it was kind of boring, so I skipped it. I actually still haven't seen it to this day. And I actually did not see Man of Steel in theaters. I wasn't really going to the movies that often at that point, so I kind of missed out on... I didn't kind of miss out. I did miss out on Man of Steel. I did see BVS and Justice League, but I don't really consider those pure Superman films. So this is the first Superman film that I have ever seen in a movie theater, as far as just being about Superman. And to be quite honest, I thought it was pretty fun. It was a good time. There's some great performances from the cast. I thought David Corenswet did a great job with the role. He definitely reminds me a lot of the Superman from the 90s animated show, which this whole movie kind of reminded me of that show. And I think that's why I really liked it, because I was a kid when that show was on, and I used to love that show. So I think that's the most why I think I personally enjoyed this film. That said, it does have some flaws, and I will get into that in just a second. But first things first, I want to give all the credit in the world to the cast. David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, and Eddie Gathegi are all a lot of fun on screen. They do such a great job with their characters. Nathan Fillion and Isabella Merced are not really in the film as much as I thought they would be, but the little bit that they're in, they're great. I mean, I think the acting is not something that anybody is really going to have a problem with in this movie. I've seen some people really love this movie, some people really hate it. It seems to be divisive. I am kind of in between. I thought it was good. I would actually say I probably lean more towards loving it, because I actually kind of want to go see it again. I kind of want to go see it in the theater again. Yeah, so it's definitely a more fun, optimistic kind of Superman as far as him as a character, which is more closer to the comic book that, at least that I remember. I didn't read a whole lot of Superman's comic books. I actually just picked up the trade of The Death of Superman. I own a few reprint copies of it, but I've always wanted to actually read the story itself. That said, I'm not super into Superman as a character, but what I did know and what I liked about Superman was that he was always more like optimistic. He was always, like more. He was always like smiling about something. And I remember there's a part, I think it's in All Star Superman, where this person's about to kill himself. And rather than Superman, like, waiting for them to jump so he can fly in and grab them, save them, he flies behind them, puts his hand on their shoulder, and says, "Hey, I know life is hard, but I believe in you, and I think you can do it. You're strong," and then that person doesn't want to kill themselves. That was always Superman to me, like somebody who was just the ultimate do-gooder. And that may sound boring to some people, but honestly, that's prototype of a superhero, which is what Superman is. He's basically the first superhero. All the way back when Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster first created him, I believe in 1925 was the first Superman Action Comics #1. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. I know it was in the 20s. He's supposed to be like the opposite of Batman. He's not supposed to be all brooding and not that he can't. Not that Superman can't have stories where he's kind of like where he's not doing very well. There's moments in this film where he's definitely more down and he's like, he has to kind of pick himself back up and he I'm sure you guys have seen it in the trailer where he's like yelling at Lois, "I was saving lives." There's moments like that where he is certainly like at a low point. He has to kind of bring himself back. But I never felt like he was like, life sucks and I'm now Batman with a blue and red color scheme. Yeah, I mostly blame Zack Snyder for that. The whole like everything has to be like hard, edgy, and that's just I don't know. Like that's not Superman to me. That's what makes Batman stand out as a character to me. All right, back to the movie. I'm so sorry, guys. I apologize. The plot to this film, much like this review, is kind of all over the place. It's a bit messy, and it can be hard to kind of follow what's going on. I like for the first little bit, I did kind of have trouble figuring out like, okay, what's this movie supposed to be about? Like, okay, it's Superman, but what does Superman do? What is he gonna do in this movie? Once they kind of got their footing together and the plot got going, it went all over the place. And I'm not going to lie, that is kind of where I start to get a little negative on the film. It was very messy. It was very all over the place. But I enjoyed it. I still thought it was a good time. I'm not saying that it absolutely killed the film for me. There are a lot of jokes in this movie. And when I say a lot of jokes, I mean a lot. It's a James Gunn film, so yes, it very much is a James Gunn film in every sense of the word. There are a lot of jokes. There's a lot of humor to break up some of the emotional moments, which kind of gets a little tiring after a while. I'm not going to lie. But other than that, I personally really enjoyed this film. I had a lot of fun watching it, seeing it on the big screen. I want to see more of David Cornsweet as Superman. I want to see Rachel Brosnahan come back, and, hell, I'd love to see Nicholas Hoult come back as Lex Luthor, too. I thought he was pretty good. I'm interested to see where they go going forward. I really like this movie. I really hope the new DC cinematic universe gets its footing, and I hope it goes better than it did originally. I think what DC needs to do this time around is just take their time. Just release a few of these movies, develop these characters, introduce them to audiences, and I think because that's what Marvel did. And I don't want to say, like, oh, do what Marvel did, but, yeah, like, do what Marvel did. Just make a few movies, develop some of these characters, get them introduced, then start doing your Justice League movies, your collaboration, big event movies, that kind of stuff. I really like this film. It wasn't perfect by any means. There's definitely some issues with the plot being a bit of a mess. Maybe, some of the character development was a bit weak. Like I said, Nathan Fillion, Isabella Merced, their characters really aren't in the movie that much. But Eddie Gathegy's character, Mr. Terrific, who I don't really know a lot about, admittedly, he was pretty cool. So, yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had in this film. It's not a perfect film by any means. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Be sure to let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of Superman if you've seen it. Also be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, I'm Justin Crumley and this is Cujo Productions saying, stay awesome.